Hey everybody, and welcome to another video. Mike's Computer Tips. I'm Mike, and I talk about computer issues, teach people how to repair their own computer. I teach people how to fix computers, how to do things, a little bit of tricks and tips, things you might not know, how to fix things easy, like your computer's freezing. I tell you how to get it unfroze and stuff. So yeah, I want to talk today about hardware in your computer. What's in the computer, and I wanted to go through that today and make this video because everybody buys a computer and everybody's on a different level. Some people don't. A lot of people don't know anything about computers. They just know how to get on and use the internet and do things on the computer, and then they shut it off. And next time they use it, they go back on. But I want to talk a little about like what's inside the computer, like all the different parts and things like that. I'm not going to get real deep into it, but I'm going to summarize some of the stuff. So, people say hard drive. That's a term that when some people say it, they're like, they're talking about this little thing that's in your laptop computer. This is a hard drive. And this is where all your information is on the computer if you have a laptop. But a lot of people refer to hard drive as the whole computer, the whole desktop. That's my hard drive. I don't know where that started, but there's a lot of people that say that. But really, your hard drive is where your information is inside the computer. Now, this is a laptop hard drive, and this is a desktop hard drive. You can see the difference in size. But inside a desktop computer is a big hard drive like this. Or if you have a SSD, which would be smaller, but I'm not going to get into that in this video. I'm going to make another video about that. So all your information is on a whole box in your computer, and it's made out of metal. And it has a lot of, like a circuit board, and inside this box it's sealed, and it is, there's a platter that spins around. It's a steel platter, and then there's an arm that moves back and forth, and that's how you read it, whatever's on your computer, and you can write to the hard drive. So all that is on one of these things, laptop, desktop. So without getting too into it, I just wanted to go over the basics of that's where all your information is. So whatever you put on your computer, it's going to be on that hard drive. Now, the brains of the computer is called processor. And every computer has a processor, and the nickname for that is CPU. You might have heard that before, CPU, which refers to Central Processing Unit. And it's a chip that's in your computer. It's a little square chip, and you may never, if you don't work on computers, you've probably never seen one. But every computer, desktop computer, has a fan, and that fan runs all the time on your computer, and it's a heat sink under it to cool it down, to cool the processor down. Now, underneath that, on your circuit board, is a processor, and it's a chip, a metal chip that sits on top of the circuit board. It's called a motherboard. Every computer has it. So if you ever open your computer or you hear a fan going in the middle, most likely that's your processor fan. And it's usually in the center of the computer. There's other fans on your computer. There's a power supply fan on the back of it. And there's also fans to cool down your computer, and those are called case fans. So you could have 2 or 3 different fans. Usually a computer will have 2 or 3 fans on it. But the processor is the main one, and that's the one that cools down your brains of the computer, let's say. That's what does all the functions of the computer. It sends information to the hard drive, to the memory, back to the hard drive and stuff like that. So the processor is the brains, and it's basically the central processing unit. That's what it's called. So data is transferred, moving back and forth all the time while you're using your computer. Things are going on in the background. You don't see them, but it's happening in your computer, just to get a little knowledge of that. Now, memory is something else. Memory, when you hear people saying memory, RAM, it's called random access memory, and that is in your computer also. If you have a desktop computer, the RAM memory is going to be bigger. It's a stick that sits right inside your motherboard, pushes in, and if you have a laptop, it's small, and usually on the bottom of your laptop, if you take the battery out, unplug it, unscrew it, one of the doors underneath your laptop, you open it up and you'll see these little green memory modules, and that's memory. And while you're using the computer, the processor will store information in memory, so it'll be on your computer. That's how that works. And all computers have a power supply. It might be a big one, might be a small one, depends on your system. And the only difference in the power supply is basically is the wattage. You can have a 400 watt power supply, or you can have a 600 or a 750. Now, the bigger the power supply, the more things you can run on your computer. If you have a small power supply, it's probably just good enough to run what's on there. But if you have an option if you ever want to upgrade your computer, and a lot of people do that, or they buy a new computer that has more capacity and more capability, but you can always get a bigger power supply and switch it in your computer, and you can plug in more things, and you'll have the power to do that. So those are some main hardware things that are on a computer. And I just want to touch on that, not because I know not everybody wants to be a computer repair person, or maybe not have that interest, but when I bought a computer back in the early 90s, I didn't know even how to use it. I didn't even know anything about it. I just saw people buying computers and thought, hey, I got to get me one too. And I wish somebody would have told me something about it. I remember spending hours and hours, with the people on Microsoft or AOL on the phone, people that didn't hardly speak English, trying to explain step by step to fix my computer the way it's supposed to be. The screen bottom is covering that part of your camera. Oh. All right, thanks for telling me. I'll fix that. How is that? Is that any better? Is it working better now? Sometimes these cameras have to be adjusted. Much better. That's great. All right. Nice to meet you. Feeling puzzled. I'm going to make you a moderator, so anytime you want to, you'll have moderator status. Anytime you want to come in, you're always welcome. And if you're new here, like I say, make sure you subscribe, like, hit the bell notification. Nice to meet you also. And I usually talk about all things computer related, and how to, use your computer, how to do minor repairs to your computer, and all kinds of things. Answer any kind of question you have or any problem you might have. But we are basically talking about hardware. So in a nutshell, my partner's a pig builder, so I thought I'd find you interesting. Oh, okay. Sounds good. PC builder. That's great. Well, I hope I'm interested. I have a bunch of videos and I try to help people with their computer. And yeah, I like PC builders. You know, I could take apart a computer, put it back together. You can upgrade it. You can build it from scratch, which is a good thing, you know. That's another thing I want to touch on. You know, you can go to the store and buy a computer off the shelf, or you can have somebody or do it yourself if you have the knowledge. And you can build your own desktop computer. Or home building. Oh, got you. Well, you can always learn. Yeah, I got to start somewhere. But, I mean, you're always coming out with better parts, you know, and but technology is always getting better and better. So, a lot of people build custom computers, and they're more powerful than one you'd find off the shelf. No, I didn't build any of my own computers. I mainly repair computers for people. That's my, you know, I do that in my own business, and I teach people how to do it. But I don't build computers. I upgrade them for customers, but I am not a builder. Mine's a high graphics gaming one. Great. Yeah, I have one like that over here. And it's, if you do gaming and editing, you know, you got your computer is going to have a faster processor. It's going to have a great video card, you know, like a nice NVIDIA card on it. So you can do graphics, you can do gaming, and you can do video editing and that kind of stuff. And it's awesome. You're right. It's very awesome to do that if you like gaming or if you edit videos. And I edit videos. NVIDIA. Okay, yeah, NVIDIA is great. I have an NVIDIA in my computer here. I have a GeForce NVIDIA. And it's a very good one. It's not a 4 gig, it's a 2 gig, but for what I do, it's enough, you know. I don't do like high-end stuff. I do basically some video editing for my videos I put on YouTube. And I always tell people to join my channel, watch some of my videos if you want to learn stuff. I have a lot of informative videos that will help you and teach you how to do different things, from cleaning your computer to repairing it. Latest graphics card mostly sold out here. I think mine's an i5 quad core, but I may be. Well, the quad core is the processor. Now, there's memory on your card. So i5, you might have an i5 quad core, which is the processor, your CPU. And we were talking about that earlier, about, you know, the processor is the brains of the computer. The graphics is what you see on the screen. You know, if you have more graphics capability, like an NVIDIA card in there, which is a big card that goes on the motherboard, you know, in your gaming system, then you'll have the capacity and capability to play, you know, interactive games and things like that and edit videos. But that's a whole nother video that I'll come out with and talk about it. I try to keep my videos simple so people will understand them and let people know that your computer has a hard drive in it. Your computer has memory. Your computer has a power supply, a circuit board, which is called a motherboard, and all the parts are on the circuit board. Your computer has fans in it. The main fan is in the center, which cools down your processor, your CPU. It could be a Core i5, or it could be a Core i7. It could even be a Core i9, which is the latest one that's out. Or it could be an AMD, which is a different company. The companies that make processors are Intel and AMD. Okay, you either have an AMD or an Intel processor. I play online Elder Scrolls. And so we build high graphics. It's complicated. Okay, great. Yeah, you have a new video. AMD rings a bell. Yeah. Yeah, AMD processors are a little cheaper and they usually are more geared for gaming and performance. Intel is also geared for gaming and performance, but AMD usually has cheaper processors as far as the price goes, which are a little bit better as far as for gaming. They're mostly made for gaming because they have what's called cache, and they have a lot of cache on there, which is memory built into it. And they also have more capability in the chip. So you have Intel and you have AMD chips, and that's your processor. But yeah, they're both very good. It just depends on what you're going to build, how you're going to build the computer and what parts you're going to put in it. If you're looking for value, then you would probably go with AMD because it's going to be more cost effective to build a computer with an AMD motherboard or a processor. So that's going to save you money. And not only save you money, you're going to get more performance out of the AMD probably than you would out of the Intel. But the Intels are good also. I hope that makes sense. But most computer builders are using AMDs because you get more bang for your buck. If you're going to build a gaming computer, a workstation, or an editing computer, which I have my computer set up for that. I don't do gaming, but I do editing sometimes. So, yeah, so, that's what you have. You have a high-end video card. You have a high-end processor. You have a lot of memory, which is called RAM memory. You probably have 16 gigs or 32 gigs. Oh, good. Okay, yeah. I use DaVinci Resolve free version to edit my videos. But yeah, if you edit, if you have a gaming system, you can edit videos because you have the capacity, the capability, and the performance to do that. Most computers off the shelf don't have all that performance unless you buy specifically a high-end computer. That's why people build their own computer, because if you want the most performance out of a computer, you have to get the best parts. And although you can buy computers off the shelf that are high-end, but they're not probably going to be as good as something that you could build because you have more options and choices. Usually they don't use the most high-end stuff in the computer when you buy it off the shelf, unless you're paying a high price tag. And that's usually how it goes. So to get the most performance out of the system, you have to build your own or have somebody build it that knows how. I mean, I fix computers for people that never built a computer in their life and they built their first computer. and it works. You know, they might have had a few problems along the way, but after you do a few computers, you start getting the hang of it, and then you understand how it works. And you can also watch videos about that, about home, building a computer. You could do that, and I'm going to probably come out with a video about that, and tell you about the most high-end parts, like that you can buy the best motherboards considered out there, and the best processor, and the best memory, and the best. You have to get like an SSD hard drive, which is a solid state drive, which is much faster than these drives here. But I'll get into that in another video. And a regular hard drive in your computer runs at 5,400 RPMs or 7,200 RPMs. But the new technology is SSD, which is flash memory. It's the same thing as a USB stick that you plug into your computer. It doesn't have any moving parts, and that's why it runs a lot faster. And they run at 15,000 RPMs, so that's quite a big difference. I watched Monty Belly. It was awesome. And he explained it to me. He found it very interesting. Oh, yeah, it's very interesting, If people took the time to understand how a computer works and what's involved in what is the components of a computer, it's very interesting. Most people turn it on and, okay, it works, and I'm going to, go to YouTube or whatever. Yeah, you can get a SSD hard drive. They do sell them. You can get a laptop one. Even in a desktop, you can get a laptop one, SSD hard drives. They sell them, and they're a lot faster. Well, the thing about an SSD hard drive, it's good and bad. It's good because it's fast, but it's bad because there's, and what makes it fast is there's no moving parts. But that can also be a downfall. You still should have a regular hard drive in your computer to save your information to. So what the best thing to do is, and a lot of system builders do, is they'll install an SSD hard drive in the computer with Windows on, okay, because Windows will work better. But then they'll put a secondary hard drive, which is a regular hard drive, like a mechanical hard drive like this, to save the information too. And they're not that expensive anymore. Well, I mean, it depends on the size. And my point is that some people want to buy like a 2-3 terabyte SSD hard drive, and you're talking about over $100 something, but you really only need a small size SSD, because all you really want on there is Windows operating system and and a little space to put things. But if you put a regular hard drive in behind that one, that's where you save all your information to. You just move all your information to that. And on my editing computer, that's how I have it set up. I have a fast SSD hard drive with Windows operating system on it, and it has some files also. But then I have a regular hard drive in there that I transfer all the data to. So if anything ever happened to the SSD hard drive, which is really made for running Windows, and making the computer fast, I don't lose any data. I don't lose any information, because it's all being saved on the regular hard drive. You see what I mean? And that doesn't have to be as fast, because all you're doing is storing your information on it. So, and you can also use an external hard drive too. You can put an SSD in your computer and have like one of these external hard drives that you can buy on eBay, and and save all your information to this. And you can do it that way also. It just plugs into the USB port. So you can also do it that way. Right, I have too much. I have that SSD, regular one. I plug it in. That's the one I plug in for. Right, so if you want extra storage space, you plug in your external hard drive. And I use this for mostly for customers where I'm going to save their information or something like that. But I want to also talk a little, this is more of a software issue than it is a hardware issue. Now, if you have a computer that's already running and you want to upgrade to an SSD hard drive, you can do what's called cloning, and that's a process that sends all the information that's on your regular hard drive to the SSD hard drive. So, and then you just take your SSD hard drive, plug it in your computer, and it's the same exact thing. Everything's back on there. And that's a software function. You can, look into that more. But and I'll probably get into that in another video. But okay, sure. But yeah, that's a good thing to have, if you're going to build a high-end system. You really want to have that capability, An SSD is today's technology, When you put that in, you won't believe how fast your computer is. It's going to be lightning fast compared to what it was before. Now, you could have a slow computer, maybe 4 gigs of memory, and a dual-core processor, and a regular hard drive. You put an SSD in there, and that computer is going to work really fast. You're going to be like shocked. And it's all because the hard drive is much faster. So it moves the information a lot faster. Is that for like backup? Some people have 4. I definitely see load speed. It's fast. Yeah, some people do, and and everybody's different. Some people have a few hard drives in their computer, and some people store a lot of information, and that's up to you. But the hard drive that you want to start your computer and to run the Windows on, it should be an SSD because it's going to be fast. And you can store your information on several drives. If you're going to store information, it's not going to slow your computer down because Windows' operating system is on the SSD hard drive. It's not on these other hard drives. So you can save as much information as you want on other hard drives. And I've seen people with 4, 5, 6 hard drives. To me, it's not, doesn't make a lot of sense because I don't save a lot of information. But for somebody that does, and you might have, a lot of information that you want to save, and you don't have to worry about mostly your computer crashing, because if your computer crashes, you most likely will not lose anything on those internal hard drives, because like I said before, Windows is the only thing that can crash on your computer, not your operating system. So those other hard drives will still be functioning after you get the computer up and running again. So yeah, a lot of people do that too. You can put one hard drive, 2, 3, or 4, how many you want. I've seen 6 or 7 hard drives in computers. That's not uncommon. Usually people, because the hard drives capacity are bigger now, you can get like a 4 terabyte hard drive that you don't really need to, put several in the computer unless you want to want to do it. Like you want to put different types of information, you can do that. But if you just want to save your information and save a lot of it, you can have a secondary hard drive that's very big, like a 2 terabyte or a 4 terabyte, and save your information to that. But it depends on what you do on the computer. Everybody's different. If you're just somebody that uses the computer and doesn't save a lot of stuff, then you really won't need that. But if you do a lot of high-end stuff on the computer, you will need, more storage and more backup. We just got surge protection, went off and wouldn't turn on to get surge effect. Yeah, 56K, I remember that too, dial-up. It came a long way, technology, when we used to have the dial-up modem, and in your computer you hear that noise, like trying to connect over the phone, and whoever's trying to make a phone call on the landline, couldn't make a call because you're on the internet. You have to get off the internet so they could use the phone. And that was a pain. Well, once I remember that, every so hours, yeah. But yeah, we make that crazy noise, like, trying to connect. And the connection was very slow. Now we have DSL, we have cable, we have, all kinds of, we have better technology and faster ways of sending data, Yeah, exactly. It was a nightmare because a lot of times your computer wouldn't start. And if there was a lot of people on the network and online, it wouldn't start. And you'd have to try to get on there so many times. This is all before, once cable came out, people started getting on DSL and cable. And it's like 56K, forget that, We don't need that anymore because that's so slow, Be like a turtle speed. And, that's all we had. So that's what we used, That's what we had. The technology was in its infancy, We had dial-up modems connected to the phone line, and you have to get on the internet that way. Thank God cable and, came, and now we have, T1 connections, and, fast connections, fiber optic connection. So it's came a long way, It has. The computer technology is, made a 100-degree turn, 120-degree turn from the beginning to now. It's just unbelievable what capability we have. Wonder how YouTube worked back then. Well, probably worked slow, but you got to remember there probably wasn't that many people on it before. Now there's so many people on it that the technology has to be better and better all the time. Yeah, it's definitely amazing now because, compared to what we had to what we have now, it's like almost unbelievable that I remember when, we had like 256 memory, 128 memory. We thought that was a lot, 64 gigs of memory. I mean, your computer was slow, but when 128 came out, we were like, wow, this is fast. Then 256, then it's like getting more and more. Now we're at where you can have 16 gigs of memory in your computer or 32 gigs of memory. So it has gone from like, crawling speed to, lightning fast. Where are you? Where are you? Oh, you're in the UK. Okay, I am in Florida in the United States. So you're on the other side of the pond. UK. Okay. Yeah, I know the time difference is different in the UK. But yeah, I hope you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe and then click the bell and then click. Make sure the bell's set to all, not personalized, so you won't miss the videos. And you'll be the first when I come out with a video. You'll be the first to see it. And I'm going to be making some more videos. Every couple of days I usually come out with one. I like to do live streams. I've been doing a lot of those. But I have over like 600 videos, so make sure everybody checks them out. Yes, it's evening here, but I love to learn. I've watched you a while. Don't usually comment. Oh, that's okay, Billy. Glad you're here. Hey, Dom, how's it going? Welcome. Dom X. I'm going to set you up with a moderator also, Dom. I'm doing pretty good, Dom. Where are you from? Where are you located? I am in Florida, and I'm Mike, and my channel is Mike's Computer Tips, and we talk about all things computer related. That's the PC builder. I invited him over. Oh, okay, great. Nice to talk to you. Peace, Dom X, PC builder. Yeah, we were just talking about, building computers and, the types of computers that people build and, Intel versus AMD and, the graphics and the CPUs and stuff like that. And, so we've been getting into that. But yeah, and just like I said before, if you can buy a computer off the shelf, or you could talk to somebody like Dom X, who's a system builder and builds a computer from scratch to suit the individual. Whatever your needs are, a system builder will build a computer to specs. In other words, good motherboard, better processor, better graphic card, better memory, better cooling. When you buy a computer off the shelf, you're getting basically a stock computer, and all the parts are not high-end parts. Unless you pay a lot and you're paying for a processor, but AMD is very competitive as far as the prices are. So, PC tech support here, great. Yeah, if you're into PC tech support, that's excellent. I've been doing tech support and for my customers and computer repairs and maintenance. Scalpers on graphics, getting a video edition, price guarantee. Right, gotcha, yeah. So, like I said, that's the difference. This video, there's all different levels of people that use the computer. You can be a beginner, you can be intermediate, you can be an advanced user. So I usually make my videos for people that are beginners or intermediate, and I'm always learning something new, and I'm glad to be able to help other people with different topics and different subjects about the computer and what can go wrong and how to fix things. And I do that in my own business also. Yeah, so if you're a beginner, everybody starts where you are. I remember when I first got my computer, and like I said, everything I remember pulling the plug out because it was freezing up. I had an old compact Presario 5070 back in the day, or Windows 7 Pro, and I didn't even know how to even turn the thing on. So yeah, you learn. You learn, live and you learn. You got to make the mistakes sometimes, and then you learn how to do things. A lot of people taught me along the way, and I just try to give back what I've learned from people, what people have given me. And I also went to computer school too, A+, CompTIA A+ school. So, I had some background, but in computer repair. But mostly everything that I learned at computer school, I already knew. It just gave me the confidence going to school to go out and, start, run my own business and, deal with people and stuff like that. Yeah, oh yeah, I crash Windows. I've done everything. Anything could happen, Windows Remote Desktop, Windows 2. Well, I usually use like TeamViewer. You can change settings on TeamViewer, I've never used a built-in remote desktop. TeamViewer is a good program. There's a bunch of them out there, but, I got familiar with TeamViewer, and I would connect to someone's computer and do, things like that, run cleaners and things like that. Yeah, exactly. A plus is a good way to get jobs. But I've never worked for any company. I've always worked for myself, and I started in the mid '90s when Windows 7 came out, and I've always just worked for home users and small businesses on my own. But yeah, there's you can go the route of working for a computer, you know, company or be an IT person. Um, After 20 something years, like I said, I've always worked for myself, but that may or may not fit everybody. It's worked okay for me, but I've always had different jobs and I did computer also. So it's not like I just did computer all the time. I've always had something else going on. Oh, okay. Yeah, you can do virtual machine also. My friend told me that, you can do a lot with virtual machine. Oh, it screwed you up. They insisted I need to buy. Oh, okay. Well, I used the free version, and I've never had a problem with that. You can log in as a free, download the free version. I always tell people you're not going to have all the bells and whistles that the paid version has, but you can do the basic things with the free version. Just takes a little getting used to. All right. Yeah, it's a good way to work on people's computers all over the place. You don't have to be, usually someone comes to me or I go to them, but when you're doing remote, you could be at your location and log into a computer anywhere in the world, which is a good thing. But yeah, they all have all the, remote things have their ups and downs, good points and bad points. Chips like Microsoft activating Windows. I've done both. I like to buy my own version of Windows and then install it. I get OEM versions pretty cheap, but I've called Microsoft many times and I've never had any problem with activation. They've even done step by step for me. I've been lucky, I guess. But I mean, you can't have a hard time with Microsoft. But now, as long as you have Windows 7 on your computer, you can download, and you have a key code for it, you can download a brand new version, a free version of Windows 10 right at the Microsoft site. So that's what I've done also. Yeah, keys are good. The only thing about buying keys is you got to use them. Like when you buy them, make sure you use them right away. You don't want to wait because a lot of times those keys don't work. If you buy a key today and plan on using it in a couple of weeks when you install it, but yeah, buy it now and use it now. That's the best thing. Yeah, exactly. Oh, okay. Well, they used to do mine. Now, like I said, I either have they for. I'm pretty sure you can just go to the Microsoft site. And I guess in the UK version, I know the United States has that. UK, I would assume they had it too. But we can download, a full version of Windows 10 and then enter the Windows 7 code that we have. Okay, well, I mean, if you have to have a key, obviously, to do it. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that works here all the time. Plus, I can buy a version of Windows 10 for like $25, US dollars. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's what I mean. You enter the code later. Yeah, you can do that. I've even installed it. I've even in, yeah, it's kind of, well, I mean, you got to think about how much it did cost. It used to be like 100 and something when it first came out. But, 25 dollars isn't too bad. But, you know, just remember that, you got the license, you're not going to get support from Microsoft, but you have a legal license. And even like in the United States, um, even in the United States, like I said, as long as you have the Windows 7 key, you can download it. And I have the Windows 10 on flash drives, so I don't always go to the site. I just put to a flash drive. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it was really expensive. Yeah, we were talking about the dial-up modem, 56K. Even before that, they had like a slower than 56K. We thought we were flying on 56K, even though we were just like, moving like turtles. You know, that's funny. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. So yeah, well, I guess it's too bad that you guys can't get that. Yeah, I remember I was gonna say 14.4, and then it was like 28, I think, and I think Windows 98 and 95. Yeah, you can use your fax and stuff as long as you have a landline. And it was just very slow. Yeah, 36, okay. And then we got 56K. We thought, we were flying, with like 256 RAM at the time, and then they went to 512, and it's like 512. We might get a speeding ticket with 512. Oh, I had Millennium. I think that was the most terrible operating system I've ever had. Windows Me. I used to like 7 Pro. XP was my other favorite. And I never had any problems with 7 Professional. Only problems I had is I didn't know what I was doing, so I messed things up until I learned, what to do. Oh yeah, 4 gigs of RAM. I mean, the memory was very expensive, very expensive. You would have to buy the memory in these countries that were like war torn, so the memory was so expensive. And after a while, everybody was making memory, and the prices went down little by little, and then eventually they got very cheap. But if there's a war, there would be a bombing in a country that made memory, and after that bombing, it might have wrecked the whole area where the memory was being made, and the prices went up. It was really bad. It's a lot back then as well. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I did enjoy, 7 and 10 is okay. I just don't like all the add-on features of 10, but what are you going to do? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I think 10 is okay. I mean, it's very user friendly. I like the ability that you could hook up printers, and usually you don't even have to install any software. Um, if you get into the nuts and bolts of it, you're not into all that extra add-on stuff, then you can have problems. But you know, the 7 didn't have, the bells and whistles, but I never really wanted all the bells and whistles. I was happy with XP. It was very simple. 7 seemed very simple to me. Yeah, I think 10 is okay. I like it. Yeah, I thought my favorite was XP2. Yeah, that's true. We were talking about the SSD hard drives. I was telling her. She thinks that you put one in her system. I know, in comparison to 56, 5400 RPM or 7200 RPM, mechanical hard drive. Oh, it probably load pretty fast. You can imagine. I was mentioning like AMD and Intel, and um, she didn't know what kind of parts she used. As long as it does everything you need it to do, right? It's always good. Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I used to have the Seagate, and the Seagates were good, but they weren't as good as the SSDs. No. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the fastest mechanical hard drive isn't going to load anywhere near, and that's why I was saying that, put Windows on there and just save everything to a secondary drive, or I use, external hard drives, like I was saying, external hard drives. And, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I usually get Intel, but AMD, seems like they have a little bit more bang for your dollar, or your price. Um, but they have pretty decent motherboards too. Yeah, they do, definitely do. If you want a little bit of savings for something, high end, AMD will have a better price for it. That's what generally you'll find. Yeah, the Ryzen is probably the most popular one. Oh, I see. Built 3 Ryzen 3 Slim 2. Oh, I see. Yeah, maybe we got to do the overclocking. It's probably like, overclocking and stuff like that. Right. Yeah, I feel the same way. It just always seemed like AMD is always a better price. That's how they've always been. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, compatibility issues. Right. Virtual issues. Oh, yeah. So you got to tweak things and shut things off in order to run it. Oh, okay. Huh. Yeah, I see what you're saying, John. Makes sense. Intels just work, exactly. Intels are just plug and play. Well, some of the store stuff is like cheap motherboards with, halfway decent CPUs, and low output memory with cheap power supplies. Some of these systems got Celerons, which are very poor. They don't address very much. They're stripped down Pentium. Essentially, don't ever buy a computer. I always tell my customers back in years ago, don't ever buy a Celeron because high-end Celerons will work good, but they're still not as good as the Pentium. Yeah, exactly. That was just like the stripped down, very poorly addressing. I always tell people buy a Pentium. If it says Pentium 3, Pentium 4, you're better off. Quad core is even better. But Celeron, you're just buying junk, really. You can have the best, you can have a lot of memory and a good motherboard. You got a Celeron. That's kind of like having a Porsche or a Maserati, with a Volkswagen engine in it. All right, let's see. Oh, okay, an i3 without label. I like i5. I have i7 in my other one. It's a seventh generation. It's like fourth generation i7. And it's I got 16 gigs of memory on that computer, so it runs pretty good. It's actually a computer off the shelf. It's it's a Dell, but this is an older computer. It's a Studio XPS. That's what I use. But yeah, I like i5s. i5s are good. Studio XPS is a big giant tower, and that's what I use when I do my video editing. Oh, okay. Yeah, I have a benchmark on this, but I like Intel, and this computer works good. It's always worked good for me. Yeah, maybe you want to spend extra money, i9, get the latest, greatest thing out there. I used to be a technician for Dell. I used to do all the warranty work. And for a while, I did that. Oh, I see. Yeah, it sounds like you have to use a lot of tweaking just to get things to work. Wow, that's a big jump. Right. Yeah, Dell's have always been reliable. I've always liked Dell, and I always recommend them if you want to buy something, just just to get online and email and stuff like that. Dell's are good. Just stay away from the Celeron. Huh? Yeah, I've used so many old Dell laptops, and they've always been very reliable. Yeah, G60, I had a few of those. Those are nice. I had a couple Inspirons too. They're nice. They were good. I used to sell a lot of Dell laptops back in the day. Sell stacks of them. I used to buy them from somebody and load Windows 7 and sell them for like $200. And it was a big thing. Well, the only true gaming laptop you can really consider would be something with high-end graphics, like a high-end AMD or MSI motherboard, or you know um, Dell bought the that high-end brand laptop, and yeah, I mean you can get more performance out of a desktop, but you can get some performance out of a laptop. But desktops, you're always going to be able to get more out of it, performance wise, because laptops you can't really, you're going to have to get something with a high end graphics card. You can't unless you want to unsolder it. Oh wow. Hmm. Yeah, I had a customer came over here a couple weeks ago, and his motherboard was starting on fire. I'm like, I had to shut it off, take the battery out. Yeah, a lot of things can happen, that's for sure. Yeah, I agree 100%. You want to do like, all out gaming. You don't want to have a laptop. You want to have something like MSI motherboard, in a desktop. Yeah, there you go. Alienware is considered like high end for a laptop, but they're very expensive. Alienware. I've never had an Alienware before. I heard Dell bought the company. Yeah, I don't know either. Because they're too cheap to put all these components on. They just want to make it and get it out there. That's probably the reason. Every laptop I've seen, unless it was like a high-end laptop, has, low-end parts in it. Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean they're you can get some capability out of a laptop, but not a whole lot. I've seen decent laptops, but yeah, you have to really have a desktop if you want to have performance, stable performance. Need to purchase. Customer alert. Typically, I use my PC for over 6 hours. I use DaVinci Resolve free version. It's an excellent software. DaVinci Resolve. I don't know. I'm kind of busy. How about tomorrow afternoon? Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't do very much editing, but when I've used editing software, I usually use that. I use DaVinci Resolve. Gotcha. Well, I'm gonna have to be taking off. It's about dinner time here in the U.S. But I appreciate you guys coming here and Dom, all the great input that you've been talking about. It's really great, and also feeling puzzled. So hopefully, I'll talk to you guys soon, and you guys have a great night. And thanks for talking. Nice chatting. Okay, I got you, Dom. Thank you. Okay, I will add you. Creepy Witch 019.